Welcome to Michelle and Amy Theater. I feel like this is like a talk show. So this is Michelle. You guys know me. This is Amy. She's actually going to be the guest on next week's webinar and blog post as well, which is a cooking demonstration. And we're going to do some Thanksgiving dishes. So that'll be pretty fun. But today we're going to talk about tips and tricks to help you get through the holiday season unscathed, meaning not totally blowing all the hard work that you've put in so far over this year, but still being able to enjoy yourself a little bit, right?
Yes, because especially, I think the key to the longevity of your good choices is making sure that you're not depriving yourself completely and not feeling miserable about why you're doing what you're doing, because you're making these good choices to have a better you, to make a better you, and you don't want to feel upset about it and resent what you've done and what you've accomplished.
Yeah. You've actually touched on something along with that, which is not depriving yourself. And just from my personal experience and from talking to others, really found that people tend to last longer and have it's like a more sustained way of eating versus it being a diet.
Yeah.
If you do allow yourself those enjoyable moments, especially at the holidays. There's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of comfort food. Gatherings with friends that you want to take part in and be social in. But there's definitely some tricks that we're going to talk about so that you can find that balance for you, so that you don't overdo it as far as the calories go and ruin a bunch of hard work that you put in. But also so you don't feel bad about yourself and your choices, and just knowing that whatever choices we make or have made, those are in the past, so we can make new ones tomorrow. So hopefully this list and our commentary will help you come up with a plan to attack those holiday parties, and feel free to share your own. We encourage you to help out others in this position, and which is pretty much everyone in the whole wide world.
Yes. And I think what Michelle was just saying, holidays it's a fun time. Everyone is in a good mood. You don't want to hate everyone because you're not enjoying what you're eating too. So enjoy yourself, enjoy the time that you're spending with people. Just take some tips, and there are options to make it happen. There are ways to make it happen.
Yeah. So number one, we've been giving you tools all throughout this year, and you can really use those tools and apply them to the holiday season, to Thanksgiving, to Christmas, to whatever holiday you're celebrating, and using your real food knowledge. So kind of sleuthing around and deciding, we'll talk about this as one of the points, like what is it that's really worth eating. So use what you know, still trying to get a pretty good balance of your proteins, carbohydrates, and fats on your plate. Avoiding too many of those starchy carbs and the sugars, even though you're going to consume a few here and there during the holiday season, but focusing on still getting a good balance and not overdoing it in any one area. And you can use all that real food knowledge that we've been talking about this whole time, the whole year. So that kind of leads into one of the other ones, which was Amy brought up, was basically choosing your indulgences wisely, right?
Right. And just an example would be appetizers. I think if there's a dip that you really want to eat and have a little bit of, use fresh veggies. Use some raw broccoli, raw cauliflower, cucumber slices, bell pepper slices to dip instead of crackers, breadsticks, slices of bread. You really don't have to double it up to get that same sort of enjoyment. I think it tastes equally as good on some fresh veggies. Some crudité.
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 That's fresh veggies, guys. So when you go to a restaurant and they have crudité, it's a fresh veggie tray.
Yes.
It's a fancy French term. Way that I choose my indulgences wisely is, I was telling Amy, when I go to holiday parties, I decide if I'm either going to have a drink or two, or if I'm going to have some sort of like sweets or food that I would normally not eat. And I typically don't do both in one, because I find it's easier for me to enjoy a little bit here and there and not go overboard. And a lot of times when people start drinking, they stop caring as much about what's going into their mouths. So that's kind of one of my tricks.
That's a good tip.
I thought we had one more for that.
For real foods,
It's choosing your... this was it. Here's another rule I try to follow. We were talking about why would you eat a candy cane?
Yes, that.
Like, why would you waste calories on that when you can have something deliciously homemade. So my other rule is I almost always avoid processed or packaged sweets, and I just go for things that someone has made homemade. That's maybe their specialty from their culture or their country or whatever it is, or even just their house, like their Christmas favorite at home.
Yeah. And that'll make you feel better.
Yeah, and
you'll
it's
feel
so
like
cool
it's
to
worth
hear
it.
people's story about it. And it's
Absolutely.
usually like pretty darn tasty. What's
Yeah.
what's a holiday treat at your house that you look forward to?
Ooh. You know, my
And how will you keep yourself from overindulging?
Absolutely. You know, my family, my family doesn't really eat a lot of desserts. We don't do a ton of desserts, but we are carb heavy for sure. So I think the way that I like to stay on track is to make sure I'm eating a lot of vegetables with my option, and if there is something tasty that I want to try and I can't resist, I want to make sure that.
So another along the lines of choosing your indulgences wisely are mocktails.
Yes, so I think, bring something as easy as sparkling water, some non-alcoholic, even sparkling cider, just something that will still satisfy your palate but keep you from indulging in alcohol.
Yeah, you can make those like super cute options too. For maybe you have some pregnant women at your party, like if you're hosting, or people who don't drink. It's a nice gesture to have an option. It's like if you have vegetarians coming to your party, you offer some vegetarian options. It's the same idea. Don't be afraid to bring that option to the party too. People really appreciate that. Not everyone wants to drink when they go to parties, and you can make some really cute things with even just like a splash of juice and cut a pineapple or something on the edge, or with the ciders maybe like a slice of crisp green apple on the rim or something like
still
that.
Festive.
Cinnamon stick and like some hot apple cider.
Yes.
What other ideas?
Let's see.
You can just Google mocktails, like tons of stuff will come up.
Even like spices, like clove and apple. So kind of like almost like a mulled cider, something like that.
Mulled,
wine.
MULLED, not mold.
Yeah, mulled.
Mulling spices are really nice
Mulling
though. That's like what,
spices.
cinnamon, cloves, ginger, probably cardamom or something like
Cardamom
that.
pods or seeds. Anything options like that. So
Yeah.
those are always tasty. People like them. We like them.
Be the hero. What else we got?
The next option, I think this is a great idea all year round, really, to eat before you go. So if you know that you really want to resist from filling up on options that aren't quite healthy or are your best options, eat before you go so you don't get as tempted.
It's especially good for like cocktail parties, where you're just going to be munching. If you're going to a dinner at someone's house, obviously you're going to eat dinner at the table with everyone. But if it's one of those where it's just grazing, that's a great eat before you go is a great tip.
Right. You don't overeat. You don't overeat.
What if you are going to a party? What else could you do to ensure that?
Yeah, I do this just kind of on the regular too. Is I always like to bring my own dish, so I know for sure that will be an option that I won't mind eating there.
And a lot of times people are like, "Oh, this is healthy."
Yeah, people love it.
Yeah,
and
you don't even have to
share
tell them
it.
it's healthy. You're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I just brought this thing." You don't have to say it's like, "Oh, it's gluten free, paleo."
So
just
bring your
say
healthy
like, "I
dish
brought
to
this
share.
awesome casserole."
Yeah, and salads are great options, and you can get so creative with salads, nuts, fruit, seeds. Some people like that. It's easy. You don't and you know that for sure there will be something for you to eat there.
We have a special guest. When you do go to kind of the grazing parties, my tip is not to hang out near the buffet or even the bar for that matter. To get over on the other side of the room and hang out over there and talk to people over there versus if you're standing next to the buffet or even like
You
I
feel
find
tempted.
I'm standing at the bar stool and there's like nuts on the table. I'm standing there eating them. It's mindless eating, and a lot of times. Basically, make it worth your while. Make it worth it. Only eat the good stuff, and you guys should make it through with these tips. That is what we've got for you today.
Those are our tips. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.